The story. Whose side is the story? Whose side is the story? Whose side is the story? Both sides of the story. To hear both sides of the story. Both sides of the story. Both sides of the story. Knowledge is power. Class is in session. Hour 106.
70 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. Now we're engaged in a great civil war, testing whether that nation or any nation so conceived and so dedicated can long endure. We are met on a great battlefield of that war. We have come to dedicate a portion of that field as a final resting place for those who here gave their lives that that nation might live. It is altogether fitting and proper that we should do this. But in a larger sense, we cannot dedicate, we cannot consecrate, we cannot hallow this ground. The brave men, living and dead, who struggled here have consecrated it far above our poor power to add or detract. The world will little note nor long remember what we say here, but it can never forget what they did here. It is dedicated here to the unfinished work which who fought here have thus far so nobly advanced. It is rather for us to be here dedicated to the great task remaining before us, that from these honored dead we take increased devotion to that cause for which they gave the last full measure of devotion. That we here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain, that this nation under God shall have a new birth of freedom, and that government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth.
Oh, beautiful, our heroes proved. Yeah. Who more than self, well, country loved, and mercy more than life. America, America, make God thy gold refine, till all success be nobleness, and every gain divine. You know When I was in school, we used to sing something like this. Listen here. Oh, beautiful, far spacious skies, far amber waves of grain, far purple mountain majesties. Oh, the pretty plain. But now wait a minute. I'm talking about America, sweet America. You know, God done shed his grace on thee. He crowned thy good. Yes, he did. Every brotherhood from sea to shining sea. You know, I wish I had somebody who could sing this. America, I love you, America. You see, my God, he that shed his face on thee. You ought to love him for it, because he crowned my good. He told me he would. Every brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Thank you, Lord.
The Gettysburg speech by President Abraham Lincoln, followed by America the Beautiful by Ray Charles. For the second day running, even as American election activity continues, even after the closing of the polls, still work to be done. 2021 to 2030 is the International Decade of Healthy Aging, the International Decade of Ecosystem Restoration, the International Decade of Ocean Science for Sustainable Development, and the Decade of Action for Road Safety. It's the 9th day of the 11th month, the 11th and penultimate month of 2022, the International Year of Sustainable Mountain Development, the International Year of Basic Sciences for Sustainable Development, the International Year of Glass, and the International Year of Artisanal Fisheries and Aquaculture. Put another way, it's the 9th day of the 6th month of the 2022 Atlantic hurricane season, and the National Hurricane Center in Miami, Florida, has been busy trying to keep us abreast of the latest developments. Well, we can tell you that within the last hour, Tropical Storm Nicole, well, the center of Tropical Storm Nicole passed over Great Abaco Island in the Bahamas. And we also heard before that from the Hurricane Center that Tropical Storm Nicole, in fact, well, let's take the break and come back.
You know, God done shed his grace on thee. He crowned thy good. Yes, he did. Every brotherhood from sea to shining sea. You're listening
listen to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:15. For the best in affordable quality footwear and accessories and professional staff, Sammy's Shoe Store is your answer. They have been satisfying your needs for dress shoes, school shoes, athletic shoes, and work shoes for over 50 years, with 5 corporate era stores located downtown on King Street, Sovereign Village in Portmore, Premier Plaza Midtown, Boulevard Supercenter in Pembroke Hall, and Cumberland Road in Spanish Town, and their new online store, SammysJA.com. They'll be here for another 50 years to meet your footwear needs. Sammy's the shoe people. The Issa Manning Cup schoolboy football competition is in full swing, and Power Play will bring you live reports and updates on the football matches. Listen to every Tuesday at 7:15 p.m. right here on Power 106 FM. Live reports will be brought to you by Chadha Distributors Limited, KFC, and Alice Duane and Company Limited.
America, may God
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. We were sharing the update with you, our faithful listeners at home and abroad. News of Tropical Storm Nicole making landfall on Great Abaco Island in the northwestern Bahamas, with maximum winds of 70 miles or 110 kilometers per hour. That's the latest on that system. In the meantime, let's bring it a little closer to home and tell you what's happening locally, weather-wise. Here on the rock we call Jamaica land we love. The National Meteorological Service is telling us that there's an induced trough across the Central Caribbean. In other words, this trough was triggered by something else. In this instance, it could possibly be associated with Nicole and her behavior in the region. So this induced tropical, I beg your pardon, this induced trough. Remember, when you hear the word trough, we're talking about showers, cloudiness, wet weather, basically. And so this one was induced across the Central Caribbean, including Jamaica. And we're being advised to look for isolated showers, mainly across sections of hilly areas and northern parishes for the rest of the afternoon. Tonight will become partly cloudy. Why do we do the weather report at this time? Something happened one afternoon, some months ago, when it's almost as if everybody was caught flat-footed. I don't know if you remember, we got some serious rains and some other conditions that we weren't expecting. And so some people are saying, how come? So how we never hear that in the weather report, etc., etc. So we said, you know what? From henceforth, we shall give you a report around this time of the afternoon, so that we're not surprised when these things happen. So that's how we started doing this. Right. So let's continue by reminding ourselves of the observances for this month of November. It's being observed here in Jamaica as Youth Month, Parents Month, Science and Technology Month, Drug Abuse Awareness Month, Local Government and Rural Development Month, Food Month, Eat Jamaican Month, Diabetes Awareness Month, Epilepsy Awareness Month, Alzheimer's Awareness Month, CARICOM Energy Month, and Kiwanis Family Month. It's Alana Muhammad Iqbal Day in Pakistan, Berlin Wall Opening Day in Germany, Dia de Kaman in Peru, National Independence Day in Cambodia, Virgen de la Almudena in España, and Inventors Day in Germany. Hoy es miércoles el 9 de noviembre 2022 y les saludamos en cualquier parte del mundo que nos están escuchando en este momento. Estamos muy agradecidos por el don de la vida y el privilegio de servirles en otra edición de su programa Both Sides of the Story, ambos lados de la historia. Nunca vamos a tomar su audiencia por sentado, porque sabemos que ustedes tienen otras opciones, y esta es la razón por la cual jamás olvidamos darle las gracias por elegir Both Sides of the Story, ambos lados de la historia, de lunes a viernes desde las 2 hasta las 5 de la tarde, aquí en Power 106 FM. La misión continúa para educar, capacitar, iluminar y estimular el espíritu empresarial. Bienvenidos. C'est mercredi le 9 novembre 2022 et nous vous saluons tous qui nous écoutez où que vous soyez dans le monde. Nous sommes reconnaissants du don de la vie ainsi que du privilège d'être votre service par une nouvelle édition de votre programme Both Sides of the Story, le pour et le contre. Nous ne considérons pas votre fidélité comme allant de soi parce que nous savons que vous avez l'embarras du choix. C'est pourquoi nous n'oublions jamais de vous remercier de choisir d'écouter Both Sides of the Story, le pour et le contre, du lundi au vendredi de 2h à 5h de l'après-midi sur notre antenne Power 106 FM. Nous continuons notre mission d'éduquer, d'habiliter, d'éclairer et d'encourager l'esprit d'entreprise. Bienvenue. All we're saying is it's Wednesday, the 9th of November, 2022, and I greet you well, wherever in the world you are listening to us right now. We remain eternally grateful for the gift of life and the privilege to serve you on yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story. We don't ever take your listenership for granted, and that's why we never ever forget to choosing to listen to Both Sides of the Story, Monday to Friday, 2 to right here on Power 106 FM. The mission continues to educate, empower, enlighten, and encourage entrepreneurship. Welcome.
Make God thy gold refine.
It's the 313th day of 2022, which means that after today, 52 days are left in 2022. And for those of us who celebrate the season, we're 45 days away from Christmas Day. Good afternoon to those of you listening to us on 106.1, 106.3, 106.5, 106.7, and 106.9. From Morant Point to Negril Point, from the Goat Islands to Galena Point. This is Power 106 FM, serving Jamaica and the diaspora. Hello to those tuned in via the Power 106 FM app, which you have downloaded from the App Store or the Google Play Store, depending on the nature of your device. Downloading is free. Listening is free whenever, wherever. We acknowledge those who have dialed a designated number to listen to Power 106 FM from the United States and the United Kingdom. If you're in America and you wish to dial a number to listen to Power 106 FM, your number is 631-359-8281. 631-359-8281. If you're in the United Kingdom and you wish to dial a number to listen to Power 106 FM, your number is 0330-606-0953, 0330-606-0953. What's on your mind this afternoon? We're taking your calls on 922-4112-5, 876-922-4112-5. The text line is the same as the WhatsApp number, which means you can not only send us your text messages, your WhatsApp messages, your voice notes, but you can call us on WhatsApp as well. That number is 876-365-3346, 876-365-3346. So the lines are open to you. It's all yours. Whatever is on your mind, whatever is being discussed in your household that you can share with us publicly, whatever is on the lips of the passengers commuting to and from work on a daily basis, whatever is happening, whatever concerns you have, whatever criticisms, whatever issues, whatever suggestions, recommendations, ideations, whatever is on your mind, please feel free to share. Let's discuss it. Let's talk about it. Let's reason. And let's get a better understanding. How about that? And we don't have to agree with each other. Not at all. We don't have to agree. But the least we can do is agree to disagree. How about that? Nothing wrong with that. Welcome to Ricardo in Glengoff, St. Catherine, who is greeting everybody as usual. Dwayne Murdoch says, hey, Mr. D, good afternoon from Atlanta. Welcome, Dwayne Murdoch from Atlanta, and hello to all the other Jamaicans and friends of Jamaica in Atlanta, Georgia, sometimes referred to as Hotlanta, Hotlanta. Norman Hines in St. Thomas, always good to have you on board. Both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM. Pleasure to have you join us. Now, what was this we were looking at? This is Miss Pearl, who was baking. What was she baking again? I think she was baking, was it breadfruit pudding? I believe so. So she shared a picture of it when it was in its early stage, when she put it in the oven. Now we're seeing a picture of the finished product. Well done, Miss Pearl. Well done. She says, finished product. Taste just as it looks. We have no doubt about that, Miss Pearl. Please go ahead and WhatsApp us a piece of that breadfruit pudding. I'll be checking the WhatsApp here for a piece of the pudding, Miss Pearl. Thank you. Brother Junior, we see your messages. You have left a couple of voice notes. Let's see if you would like us to... All right. We'll follow up on this off the air, Brother Junior. Thank you very much for your message, Brother Junior from Old Harbor Bay. Good to have you on board. Thank you very much for tuning in and keeping in touch with us. And we look forward to your continued listenership and support. How about that? Thank you very much. Hello. Let's see. Let's go down the line here. Rico says, well, he has sent us a clip, a voice note. You know, we are not ready. We're not people who readily play clips and links online just like that. We have to audition the material first because this is free-to-air radio. So we have to audition. So we haven't listened to these voice notes yet. And what we do, we'll see if we can, well, let's listen to the voice notes and then we'll make a determination going forward.
Who more than self? Yeah, country country loved, and mercy more than life. America.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:30.
With over 30 years of combined experience in the Jamaican real estate sector, trust Remax Elite Realty to help you with the buying or selling process. Visit our website at remax-elite.com.jm. Remax Elite Realty. Outstanding agents, outstanding results.
Tune in to Farm Talk every second and third Tuesday of each month at 6:18 a.m. for the feature High Pro Food Independence. High Pro Food Independence will focus on solutions for farmers, such as land, animal husbandry, agronomy, and more. That's High Pro Food Independence every second and third Tuesday from 6:18 to 6:30 a.m. during Farm Talk, only on Power 106 FM. High Pro Food Independence is sponsored by High Pro.
America, America, make God thy gold refine, till all success be nobleness, and ever again divine. And you know, when I was in school, we used to sing it something like this. Listen here. Oh, beautiful, far spacious skies, far amber waves of grain, far purple mountain majesties. Over the fruited plain. But now wait a minute. I'm talking about America, sweet America. You know, God done shed his grace on me.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world, taking your calls on 876-922-4112-5, 876-922-4112-5. Those in the United States of America would love to hear from you. Looking forward to that with respect to election matters in the great United States of America. Looking forward to that. We'll check on that. So the lines are open to you, 876-922-4112-5. Let's go to the phone lines. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah. Good afternoon to your listeners and to the station. And special good afternoon to you. So, Dervan,
Yes.
I don't remember if I asked this question and if I did get the right answer. What are we if we leave the Queen? What our leader will be called?
A president, perhaps?
The President of Jamaica.
Yes.
And will we have an opposition?
Yes.
So it is a process just like election every 4 years or every 5 years.
Yes.
Oh, I see. The other thing is, who does Jamaica belong to? The Queen or us, Jamaicans?
Say that again?
Who does Jamaica, the land, that we love belongs to.
The people of Jamaica.
And like the Prime Minister is given charge over to look over it for us. Is that it?
We have a political system based on the Westminster system,
Yeah.
and that's what we have been administering since, I believe, 1944.
Mm-hmm.
Well, universal adult suffrage achieved in 1944. I think there might have been elections before that, but in terms of, because there was a time in this country where you needed to own land in order to vote.
Oh, I see.
But that all that changed in 1944 with what is called universal adult suffrage, which is the right of every citizen, every adult, to vote.
So the Prime Minister, well, immediately him, but even others that come, they don't have the right to go and say you can't live there or you can't live there, because like that spot is not is good too good for you or so and so. And I'm not talking about people building up houses where without permission. You know, they like they could ask permission, but they already built something. You understand? So they get in order. Why does your home have to be hammered down?
We are supposed to be a country of laws. Unfortunately, that has not manifested itself the way that would, and not all the time. And there is an expectation that as a people we will abide by the laws of the land until they have been amended or otherwise changed. That's the law, and we can always agitate and advocate for changes to take place. But as long as the law is in place, in force, then we are expected to comply with the law. And if we have a difficulty with that, there's a judicial system. You can take the matter to court and seek some kind of remedy. But once there is a law, we're expected to abide by the law. And if we think the law is is
Unfair.
is unfair,
Yeah.
then we can challenge it.
Okay. And I don't think they should make the land so expensive
No. That's the nature
either.
of land. That's the nature of land, especially when it comes on to particular location. The experts will tell you location, location, location. And depending on where that land is located, that will essentially, depending on where the land is located, you will know the value. And the value, if the value is high, it means the location is an excellent location,
Excellent location.
right? But land is not necessarily on the face of it expensive. There are people who buy and sell land for $1, for example, because they're selling it to a family member, etc. There's nothing to stop you from selling it for $1, and there's nothing to stop you from selling it for $1 million. However, on that level, there there is an element where the land has to be valued so in line with government standards, legal and other statutes.
Mhm. Just a couple more. I don't think that the Prime Minister should go out there in the public taking with the public.
Go out with the public and do what?
But take we say we talking back and
Oh, you're talking about, or you're using the French term tête-à-tête.
yes, all right. I don't speak French like thank you.
Yes.
And I think he's in great danger like that when he did that.
When he did what?
Going out there like when the house was he can go but you don't have to go with a parade of police behind it.
No, he's a prime minister, and there are certain standards that are established when it comes to the safety and protection of not just the prime minister but other officials in Jamaica. The security experts uh, would be quite delinquent uh, if they were to do otherwise.
He does not have to answer to everything he has personally. Don't. And I don't
Look,
think
the prime minister is the leader of the
now
country,
I'm talking face to face.
and people will always call his name
Yes, they
for
always
one thing or another. I mean, these days it's a little over the top and quite vulgar in some cases,
yes.
vulgar and disrespectful and over the top, which is why we've been saying that we have to be careful that we don't undermine the institutions of state. The institutions, people are transient. People come and people go. People win elections and people lose elections. What we must ensure is that the integrity of our and integrity and the endurance of these institutions are maintained.
Okay. Yes.
So it shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter who is in the White House or Jamaica House, um, as as long as there's a recognition that there are certain standards that they must abide by when they occupy such a position or such positions, and they must act accordingly.
Okay. And I don't think I love Mr. Golding, Mr. Mark Golding, and I think that man should apologize to him.
Who? Everald Warmington?
Yes, he's rude. We're not voting on any color here. The prime minister is a black man. He's not a white man. And even though sometimes the way some of them carry on, sometimes I think that the white person would treat us better. Some of us.
You see, sometimes it's not even a bad thing when they act up publicly, because then they show us more of who they really are.
They really are. But
That
I'm
is,
so embarrassed.
I have no reason to be embarrassed because I don't have any connection to that individual.
No, I don't have any connection, but he's our leader.
Who's leader?
You know?
Who's leader?
Jamaica.
Who's a leader? Who's a leader?
Both of them, especially Mr. Golding, they're telling him to go to London. And are we
No, but what you're doing now, you are giving more legs to that nonsense that has been spewed. When you keep carrying, I think there are some things we shouldn't dignify with a response or any attention whatsoever.
Okay, and this is one of them.
I'm not necessarily saying this is one of them, but I'm just making a point that we have to be careful how we fall for the bait sometimes. BAIT. So that we end up wasting energy on trivial matters and just people who are twisted in their thoughts and people who have nothing to say really, and so they end up just talking garbage.
Nonsense.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Well, tomorrow I'll talk about the church and the state. Thank you. Have
All
a good
right.
evening.
Thanks for the call. Take care.
Bye.
Who more than self?
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:45.
The holiday season is just around the corner. Now is the time to order gifts of appreciation for your customers and staff. Touchline Industries will print your name and logo on a wide range of promotional products. Visit our website at touchlinejamaica.com. Remember the name, Touchline.
Farmers, come for a candid conversation with the Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries, the Honorable Pernell Charles Jr. Learn more about the agricultural sector and the role we all play with its development. That's a Morning with the Minister, every second and fourth Friday of every month during Farm Talk with Alfie McKenzie, right here on Power 106 FM.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on both sides of the story, Power 106 FM. Let's continue. This one says, Dervan, good day. Whoever did that theme song for you, both sides of the story did an excellent job. Love it. The theme song for both sides of the story? Or, okay, yes, I think that's what you're saying. The theme song for both sides of the story. Well, we didn't commission anybody to do it. It's a song in the public domain called Both Sides of the Story by Phil Collins. Both Sides of the Story. That's it. And it was selected by Newton James years ago as the theme song for this time slot. Another part of the message, Dervan, I want you to ask the Honorable the JLP if promoting the big crime plan presentation November 20 is no longer politicizing crime. Well, you just ask them the question. I don't need to ask them. You just ask them by asking me to read the message, by sending a message that I read. So there you go. Dervan, I can't wait to hear if he's gonna grill every window and door, because we certainly can't sleep with them open. Well, if you didn't know that before, that you can't sleep or you shouldn't sleep with your windows and doors open, then I'm sorry, we can't help you. You're living in another place. Anybody who would want to do that, sometimes we know what is, and therefore we must act accordingly, as opposed to being distracted by what isn't. Michael from Belle Plaine in Clarendon is greeting us. He says, hi, teacher, to you and your listeners. I'm here frustrated about the garbage. I'm here approximately 1 month and no garbage truck. I want you to vote for me, please. Michael in Belle Plaine, keep safe. Well, we just did, by virtue of reading your message, Michael from Belle Plaine in Clarendon. So over to the National Solid Waste Management Authority and the specific arm of that entity that is responsible. But we know that we have a problem. We know that we have a shortage or a lack of resources. And therefore, this is where the real test comes in. The test of our management skills, that we can recognize that there's a shortfall and we can tailor the organization's program of activities in such a way that the householders don't even recognize that their garbage has been efficiently collected in spite of the shortage. That is what we expect from management, from wise management. So it's one thing to say we don't have the resources, we're expecting some trucks over the next period of 6 months or whenever. It's another thing to be able to say, all right, here's the first thing. The first thing can't be to go and try and buy trucks right now. The first thing is to do an audit and take inventory of our systems and processes and resources, limited though they may be. And then we're going to come up with a strategy that is going to lead to the effective management of waste in spite of the lack of resources. That's the kind of zeal that we would love to see in this country, Jamaica, land we love. Thank you very much for your message, Michael in Belle Plaine, Clarendon. Hopefully you'll be able to find a couple of safe ways in which to properly discard of your waste, and keep reminding those responsible, whether at the level of councillor or member of parliament, of the issues you're having. Try and get updates from them, demand updates, what's happening with this, the truck to be here, etc. Follow them up. After all, when they wanted to get elected, they followed you up, didn't they? They come in and they sit in your living room and they hold your baby whose nappy needs changing because they were going after the vote. Having received the vote now, we need to see the work. We need to see the work. We need to feel it. We need to feel it. James in East London will come. He has sent us the usual collection of stories coming out of the United Kingdom. London stabbing, school boy 14 arrested on suspicion of murder. A whole lot. Every day that we get this roundup from James in East London, there's a story of a stabbing. What is it with the young people and others in the UK with stabbing? Although some people might argue we'll take that any day in Jamaica rather than the shootings and the murders. Hackney man befriended stranger in pub before leading him down alley. Oh dear. And stealing his expensive watch valued at £145,000. Well, I wish somebody would ask me to just put that up for them, eh? And they would pay me some interest for holding that, as opposed to buying a watch for £145,000. I mean, it's your money, but I'm just saying, a watch for £145,000. That doesn't give anybody the right to snatch your watch. But there is food for thought in some of these stories, if we're discerning enough to pick it up. Also, traffic is queuing for more than a mile due to the incident rush hour traffic on the M25. That was earlier today in the UK. The two officers, dubbed one of Britain's most violent offenders, he has been in jail for much of the last 50 years. So it's really police blotters more than anything else, these stories. And there's someone called James Stunt, who is accused of being at the center of a £226 million money laundering scheme. Stunt, 40, admitted his claims of being a billionaire were not 100% accurate. Today, he said he did not commit a crime by telling his PA, that's personal assistant, to forge his signature. Man must be protected from himself. Outrage as LBC reporter is handcuffed, arrested, and swabbed. The health secretary said it was disappointing. Nurses had voted to strike as he warned the action would lead to patients facing delays to care. Pregnant shoplifter who stole £51,000 worth of Rolex watches in Kendall has been spared jail. Let's go to the phone lines, 876-922-4112 to 5. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, great one. How are you today?
You're very kind in your appellation. Thank you very much.
My brother, I listened to you a while ago.
Yes.
And you're dealing with a solid waste thing.
Yes.
Right? And a little man like you remind me when I was at school. It was English literature that usually give you the it came from this talk. Midsummer Night's Dream. You remember that passage of English literature, sir?
No, I didn't do. I have a collection of all of Shakespeare's works, but I didn't do Midsummer Night's Dream for whatever reason.
It exists, don't it?
Yes.
Yes, my brother. Well, what you say about the solid waste thing and politicians sitting down and doing strategy and should work out instead of sitting on and waiting and truck that will never come there. Might come. They might come. But we have trucks here. And what you're saying, sir, is right. Just deal with what you have until you get what you want.
Yeah.
My brother. Isn't that the text of which the future thinking as politicians on the people?
Does what? Say that again?
Isn't that what they should be dealing with, sir? The immediate.
Yes. Yes, what I like to say is that you want to stop the bleeding first before anything else. Stop the bleeding.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. And they know of this because if it, as you are right, if it's in the checks and balances, they will see where they are lacking from.
That's right.
And deal with it.
Yes.
Brethren, there are there's a word called bedfellows. Believe me, my brother.
Politics makes strange bedfellows is the expression.
Man, Brethren, but you're the greatest from the people who live in Jamaica. Believe me, you're literally strong.
You're very kind.
No, not kind. It's a fact. Ask the producer. So, Brethren, keep on what you're doing here, sir. Right? And the thing about this woman, I don't know if it's a woman or a man called her about closing of windows and doors and all them kind of things. Yes. That should have been from your picnic, say the windows and the doors must be closed.
But that's something I have to do every night before going to bed. Every night.
Absolutely. Nobody about skull dog you. But you can leave windows and doors open and sing and dance and jump up and down. Come on, man. Yeah. We live in Jamaica. Land I love with a passion. And then you play some things and some military things about my country, man. It lifts my heart.
Yeah.
So keep on keeping on my bedroom.
Thank you.
I won't touch you again for another 3 months.
That's all right. No problem. Thanks for the call.
But keep strong.
Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Poro 106. Still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Taking your calls on 876-922-4112 to 5. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Mr. Malcolm.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you, sir.
Uh-huh.
I would like to find out from you. There is a house or a building on Duke Street. I think, if my memory serves me correctly, that building was erected sometime around 1957 and 59. Named after one of our heroes, the great William Gordon. Am I right?
George William Gordon.
George William Gordon. Thanks for the reminder. No, when that building was erected, I think it was erected for people with integrity, people with knowledge, people with love to sit in and to represent the people of this country from all over the island. Am I right?
Well, you can put up a structure with the hope that those who occupy the space will be worthy of such a space. But there are no guarantees because, as we always say on this program, man must be protected from himself.
Yes, I know you.
Left to himself, man is perhaps the most destructive creature on the face of this earth. And so we have to be mindful of that, which is why I keep saying focus on the institutions, not the individuals. The individuals come and go, they're transient.
Yes.
But you want to build a robust system of government and governance that will outlive us as individuals. One moment, please.
Coast to Coast Concrete, the high quality concrete for fencing, roofing, foundation, and road surfacing. Call 876 754 7472. The time by Coast to Coast Concrete is
301 on Power 106.
Sipa Copa.
Sipa Copa?
Yes, Sipa Copa.
Sipa Copa what?
Sipa Copa Ital Jamaican Moringa tea bags. Sipa Copa Moringa, turmeric, vervine, neem, and guinea hen wheat tea bags today. Sipa Copa tea is available in supermarkets island-wide. So Sipa Copa today, you'll be happy you did.
Distributed by Caramed Group Limited.
Both sides of the story.
The Cattle Breeders Society of Jamaica, in association with their partners and stakeholders, present the Minard Livestock Show and Beef Festival, Thursday, November 10 at Minard Estate, Brownstown, St. Anne. Both sides of the story with Dervan Malcolm will be there from 2 to 5 p.m. to provide live coverage of the featured events. This broadcast is brought to you by Minard Livestock, Agro Investment Corporation, Nutrimix, the College of Agriculture, Science and Education CASE, and the National Irrigation Commission. That's a live broadcast of both sides of the story, live from the Minard Livestock Show and Beef Festival, Thursday, November 10 at Minard Estate, Brownstown, St. Anne, right here on Power 106 FM.
We should sing it something like this. Listen here. Oh, beautiful, far spacious skies.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Thanks for holding.
Mr. Malcolm,
Yes.
when you were growing up, I take it that your father was in charge of the home. If you step out of line, don't your father or your mother would correct you?
Yeah, my parents would correct me, yes.
Indeed, like myself.
Yes.
Now, members of parliament are in there after being elected by their voters. Should they be able to, I think they have what is known as the standing orders in the parliament.
Uh-huh.
Yes, that is the guideline for the members.
Yes.
But if you step out of line, whether you're in parliament at the time or somewhere else, don't you think the parliament should be able to correct you?
I'm not sure what provisions are there to sanction a member. I would have to check the documentation. I don't know. It should be online, Houses of Parliament, on that website or something like
I
that.
heard something recently, could be yesterday or the day before, where a member is lambasting another member, instructing the other member, to go back to a certain place.
Yes, but as I said, we have to be discerning and recognize that bar talk is bar talk. And what is happening is that, as we said earlier on, people are really continue to show themselves, to show us who they are. And the more we take on, and I'm not saying people shouldn't talk about it by all means, but I just feel I have this thing where I don't like to waste
Time.
and energy with certain things. I just recognize it for what it is. This is another politician on a political platform who has contracted foot in mouth disease.
Disease, okay.
I don't bother waste any more time on that,
Uh,
because clearly, if
yeah, right.
if that is all you can say to
Say.
people, then dear God,
Your listeners and your
there's
followers.
there is that's empty. That's empty rhetoric.
Yeah,
Empty rhetoric.
that belongs to Riverton City.
Yes.
Yes, well, I think,
And
you
it's
know,
laced with ignorance as well. Laced with ignorance. Because when you check the facts, you will read, and you will also recognize, well,
you recall what that
mm,
individual said to a journalist some years ago about her boyfriend or something like that. You remember
no,
he was rather rude to tell the journalist who was trying to interview him what he should go and do
yes.
with her boyfriend.
Well,
You remember?
perhaps I don't know if it's an indication that our cupboard is bare. I don't know. Is our cupboard of men and women of dignity and statesmanlike and statesmanship,
Who should not be
our
in the
cupboard,
parliament, Mr. Malcolm? They
our
don't
cupboard.
live here.
Well, the political parties select their representatives,
Jesus Christ in heaven.
and those representatives come from the communities, from the constituencies. And uh, if you're a very good organizer, people will support you, and then you become a councillor or an MP, and
Or a
that's it,
minister.
or a minister,
Yeah.
or a deputy prime minister or prime minister, etc.
And
And
an
that's it,
ambassador to some others.
and
And so,
ambassadors. So
yeah.
there, it's a reflection.
Yes,
It's a
indeed.
reflection on the country, as I said, on what we have. But I'm sure we should be able to find more men and women of integrity in this country. We can't be that bad. It can't be
But,
that bad.
Mr. Malcolm, what really appalled me is to know that his leader has not even come forward and try to and say, let me rebuke this gentleman and let he did it in public
Let
and in
you
private.
rebuke who?
This person who.
Oh, I thought I heard something else, because I don't use that word lightly, you know.
Oh, yes, I know. All right, my part. My
Yes.
apology. Okay, yes.
Yes.
You're right. He should come and rebuke the individual.
Well,
One of his word of a better.
well, again, understand that the you will know who you are
All right.
dealing with, and who you are, and who you're relating to, by virtue of what the individual does or does not do. So you learn by doing, and also by not doing, and so for those of us who are discerning, to be able to decipher all of that, then more power to those of us who are able to. For those of us who aren't, then business as usual. Let's move right along.
Well, Mr. Malcolm, thank you for listening, sir.
Thank you for calling.
Yes, all the best.
Take care.
Continue your very good work.
You're very kind. Thank you. Take care. Both sides of the story. Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website. Go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. Taking your calls on 876-922-4112-5. 876-922-4112-5. And Mr. Crossburn, sorry, I tapped the wrong icon on the phone, and I think that caused your call to be declined as opposed to answered. So that was an error. Feel free to call us back. Sorry about that. Nardia has sent us a message. She says, "Good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. I'm here listening on the radio. Keep up the good work." Thank you very much for listening. All the very best. Jennifer Stewart from Q Road in Kencott, East Central St. Andrew, is greeting us and everyone else listening. Thank you, Jennifer. Welcome. Good afternoon to Andrew Lyons. By virtue of his display pic, we should have no doubt as to which journalist or talk show host he reveres. Also messaging us, Olga Hollingshead. She says, good afternoon, Sir Dervan, Malcolm, and all your listening diaspora family and friends everywhere. Raining cats and dogs here since yesterday evening. Keep up the good work. Have a wonderful and blessed day. Thank you very much, Olga Hollingshead. Faye Weller says, blessed afternoon, Mr. Dervan and listeners. To you too, Faye Weller. Exley Montgomery says, hi, teacher, to you and your listeners. Keep safe. Teacher, you are one in a million. God bless you. You're too kind, Exley Montgomery. Thank you for your message. Andrew Lyons says, good afternoon, sir. Could you please tell the police and the people of Jamaica the meaning of the yellow paint marking on the side of the road? Yes, it means no stopping at any time. No stopping, no parking at any time. Once the sidewalk is painted yellow, no stopping or parking at any time. Unless it's an area which is regulated, and so at certain times of the day or days of the week, you are allowed to park there or to stop there. Other than that, it's a no parking, no stopping area. Thank you for your message, Andrew Lyons. Norman Hines, we did greet you earlier on. Thank you for staying with us. Willie Wilson says, good afternoon, everyone from Kojak Country Style Life, Kojak Country Lifestyle YouTube. Beautiful weather here in Content District, Bogwalk, Xmas season. Thanks for your input, Willie Wilson. Thank you very much. This message from Sean Chambers on YouTube saying, good afternoon, Uncle Dervan. God bless you, my brother. I love you, my brother. When I say I love you, my brother, I mean in a godly way. It's a godly brotherly love. Love you, my brother. Well, I have no problems with that. I'm very, very satisfied in my skin, and I know who I am. So that's fine. That's not a problem. Cherry Henry says, good afternoon, Mr. Dervan and listeners. Good afternoon, Cherry Henry. Yaga says, well said, re-waste management. I'm a solutions person as well. There's something that can be done in the interim. Promises of trucks to come do nothing for the insanitary conditions that persist. Thank you very much for your message, Yaga. David Crossburn has been holding for 2 minutes and 55 seconds. Do we have anybody holding for longer than that on the other lines? Well, go ahead then. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I just want to make a comment on the matter of the garbage truck.
Yes.
My concern is, I think we're blaming politicians for everything, but we do have civil servants and educated civil servants who are supposed to carry out the daily functions of their offices. They have statutory.
Well, hold on, stick a pin. That's the point we were making. Remember, if you were listening, you would recognize that's the point we were making, that we expect those who occupy these positions, these decision-making positions, to be of the mindset that if there is a waste management issue, it's one thing to tell us trucks are coming, but we can't sit and wait on the trucks. We must demonstrate a level of ingenuity, innovativeness, a level of wisdom, and a sense of duty, searching to find an interim solution to the point where the system, as much as it is lacking the resources, would still be able to suffice, as opposed to just sitting and waiting.
Exactly. And what if we never got those trucks? What if something happened and they could never be delivered? Are we
That's
going to sit in the garbage?
well, that's the point we're making.
And if I am a taxpayer and paying persons who are supposed to be educated, masters, doctorates, I expect that is going to tell me that you can find solutions.
And
Can't
therefore
be
we
can't be
perhaps
just a politician that you're depending on.
and we perhaps need to take a look at who is making the decisions with respect to hiring people, and what kind of regimen do they go through to determine if they have the acumen to do what needs to be done when it needs to be done. One moment, please.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3:15. The Cattle Breeders Society of Jamaica presents its Minute Livestock Show and Beef Festival at Minute Estate, Brownstown, St. Anne, Thursday, November 10, under the theme Smart Livestock Production, Safer, Cleaner, Better. Sponsored by Nutralink, the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries, the Jamaica Forage Clubs, Hydro Feeds, the Jamaica Dairy Development Board, the Randa Bauxite Limited, Hot NSPA Trust, and H&L Agri.
Ventura Photo and Video Services, your one-stop shop for all your photography and videography needs. For your 15 minutes passport, digital ID, studio portraits, glamour and maternity shoots, albums, frames, cameras, batteries, memory cards, thumb drives, and other photographic supplies. Serving you with distinction at our 3 locations: 22 Market Street and Shop 26B, the Annex Fairview Shopping Center in Montego Bay, and Water Square in Falmouth. Telephone 876-952-2937 or 876-940-7444. We're the memory makers, Ventura. Tune in every Thursday at 3:30 p.m. for Your Legal Corner with Dana Walker Huntington, during both sides of the story with Dervan Malcolm on Power 106 FM. It's your source of information regarding U.S. immigration matters, combined with Power 106 FM's pioneer of diaspora broadcasting. Call in with your U.S. immigration queries and concerns on 876-922-41125 or send a text or WhatsApp message to 876-279-8598 and get the answers you need for your U.S. immigration questions. That's Your Legal Corner with Dana Walker Huntington, Thursdays at 3:30 p.m. during both sides of the story with Dervan Malcolm, only on Power 106 FM.
Oh, beautiful, all heroes proved in liberating strife.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Thanks for holding. Please continue.
Several years ago, this is going to be very short. I remember several years ago, one of our hirees saying that if he didn't get the funds, he wasn't going to do anything. Now, here is a person that is at the level of PhD, and that's all you can say. That's all you can say. And I think this is the mindset right across the board, that you're educated to postgraduate level, but you're still not performing. You're still putting down your pen and saying somebody else should do it. But we who employ these people by virtue of our being taxpayers need to demand a level of output that we're not getting now. And that's my comment. It cannot be just the politicians who are voted in and voted out, because these people are permanent employees.
Yes, indeed. We
And
hear, yes,
That's my say. That's my say.
we appreciate the call. Thank you so much. Please call again.
Thank you so much for listening. And I think you're doing a wonderful job.
You're very
Bless you.
kind. Thank you. Take care. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. Let's go to David Crossburn now. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, good afternoon to you and your listeners.
Yes, good afternoon. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity to say a brief word with you. It concerns a video I've seen circulating with a lady from Luce in Anova. She's 110 years old. So the family was bringing it to the attention of the nation, saying she's the third oldest woman in Jamaica. And
so if she's 110, it means she's as old as Calabar High School and as old as the Ward Theatre in downtown Kingston.
Definitely. She used to work on Forum Estate, they said. So I was just thinking that the Planning Institute of Jamaica, they get a grant, a 5-year grant every 5 years to do studies and so. So they could put a portion of the, if they can't adjust this one, of the upcoming grant and do a study on her. You know, her contribution and as it relates to the sugar industry itself too. And to just, well, I know the sugar industry is actually on the trenches now, but if some organization could come forward and at least upgrade our well-being, and we all do something tangible for her.
Has the National Council for Senior Citizens been made aware of her story?
I'm not sure, but I'm going to try and forward some attention there as rightly.
Yes, I would go straight to that council. Yeah, that's what I would suggest.
Okay, good. And also, I was just thinking too that at the full monument, when the full monument built, she was just about 26 years old. But one of the persons at the monument, the 6 persons that died in that riot, one is an unknown woman, you know. And I think after so many years has elapsed, we should make some effort to find out what is her name, you know, and maybe name the scholarship or the study that will be done of this lady.
Yes, unfortunately, some of us don't regard some aspects of our history as being of significance, especially in that kind of setting where there was a riot and people were killed in the process of fighting for their rights. There are those who obviously think that that's not important, to try and find the name of this person and how that person came to be at Frome, etc. Except for those of us who love history and archaeology and all of these things.
Yeah. Anyway, continue to do good work, and I really certainly deeply appreciate it, you know. And just before I go, there's 2 persons. The gentleman, I think his name is Peter, who served in the army, and he said he has a picture of King Charles when he came to Jamaica.
Yes.
I don't know if I could use your program to reach out to him. I'd really like to get a copy of that picture, you know. I would like to include it in my text, Dervan. It's almost finished. You might be asking how long I'm working on it, but a long while. And I would like to include the picture with Peter on King Charles visit in 1953.
Well, we hope he's listening.
Yes. All right. So all the very best and keep strong.
You too.
Listeners.
Thank you. Take care.
Yes.
Bye-bye. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. You know, from time to time, people complain to me about quality of service or lack thereof, and how certain people behave, certain people in certain positions. And I usually say to people, I really don't blame the people who are acting up. I blame the people who employed them in the first place. Because then, on what basis was this individual employed? What kind of rubric was used? What kind of benchmark was established, etc., etc.? Because we know there are instances where, depending on who you are, you might be able to get a position somewhere, even if you know absolutely nothing about the job. But what did somebody say once? Them send me when asked questions about a particular employment. I send them send me. I mean, that's the essence of that individual's CV. I send them send me. We need better than that. Much better than that. We have to, as we've said on this program before as well, you really want, for those who love football, the beautiful game, ball rolling already? Not yet. Well, I guess I haven't been able to watch. That's late. Which cup? Carabao. Okay. So ball is rolling. No, but just as how what you want, depending on the strength of your team. When I say strength, meaning the areas in which your team excel or tends to your team tends to excel in. That you want to, once you find that you have that strength, you want to always ensure that you put your best in that position or those positions, whether it be midfield, whether it be forward, etc. You want your very best. You want your very best 11 on the field at any point in time, quite frankly. Because you always have these debates at football matches. How come when name they're not playing? Why them never pick so and so? Right? The idea is you should know, which is why I love the title of manager as opposed to coach when it comes to football. Manager. Peter Drucker, the great management guru, once said, those who seek to lead but fail to manage will become either irrelevant or dangerous, not only to their organization, but to society. And so we really want to put our best people forward. From our trainers, or leaders, we want to put the best people in place. So it means we have to have a solid foundation, a quality cadre of people who are sufficiently conversant with not just the rudimentary work matters, but people of vision, men and women of vision, men and women of integrity, men and women of ideas, men and women who love what they do so much that they are prepared to give that work that they have to do all they've got to ensure that whatever issues arise, they're able to effectively cauterize that problem and keep the engine of production going. And so we have to be mindful of that. Organizations tend to take on the character of the people who lead them. We could go on. Let's continue. 876-922-4112 to 5. More after the break.
Protecting Jamaica's borders from illicit imports and exports is a key priority for the Jamaica Customs Agency. The JCA will remain vigilant and resolute in effectively fulfilling this mandate. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is 3:30.
Parents, students, teachers, Paper and Things provides more than just great service. We are your source for a variety of printing, stationery, and binding supplies. We provide assistance for school assignments and projects. There are stickers, foam balls, cardboards, paints, Play-Doh, construction paper, teaching charts, and more. Paper and Things, a subsidiary of Speedy Prints, located at 20 Market Street, Montego Bay. Open Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. and Saturday, 10 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Telephone 940-1491.
For haulage, welding, moving, dredging, pile driving, cranes for lifting up to 450 tons, and skilled workmen, call Mobile Welding and Engineering Works, 29 Marion Road, Montego Bay, and 85 Old Hope Road, Kingston 6. Mobile Welding and Engineering Works, the strongest name in steel.
Thank you, Lord. Oh, beautiful, our heroes proved in liberating strife. Who more than
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. I'm Dervan Malcolm, taking your calls on 876-922-4112 to 5. 876-922-4112 to 5. The text line is the same as the WhatsApp number, which means you can not only send us your text messages, your WhatsApp messages, your voice notes, you can call us on WhatsApp as well. That number is 876-365-3346. 876-365-3346. Let's give you a quick roundup with respect to trending stories on the Gleaners website. There's trending right now on the Gleaners website, jamaica-gleaner.com. Spice says she suffered a ruptured hernia, sepsis. Dancehall Queen Spice broke her silence about her illness a short while ago in an Instagram post. Going into details, the Queen of the Dancehall told her besties, as her fans are called, that she suffered a ruptured hernia and that her body... Where's the rest of the story? Let's bring up the rest of the story. Her body